Boom! Welcome, people, back to the Armament Factory with yours truly, Big Luch, aka the Sparrow. You don't know. Welcome back to the Armament Factory for this week's episode of the Saturday Premier League Roundup. Let's go. We're going to start this weekend's episode with the early kickoff on Saturday. That's right, 12:30 at the GTEC Community Stadium, where Brentford hosted none other than Manchester United. The United team who bought Mbeumo from Brentford have finally come off of a win against Chelsea at home, but still have not been able to win 2 games in a row. Now, obviously they went there and lost again, so that's another loss for Ruben Amorim. Not only did they lose, Brentford put the smackdown on Manchester United. That's right, they put the smackdown on Manchester United. First goal, incredible. They tried to claim offside, but no. Someone was playing them onside. Not saying any names, Maguire. Someone played them onside. Second goal again. Great piece of play. Bayern saved the first shot. Couldn't save the second one. I forgot the player that was there, but he just stuck it in. It was 2-0 to Brentford. Then, somehow, Manchester United managed to create an attack. Managed to create some sort of mayhem in the Brentford box. And who was there? None other than Benjamin Sesko. Or Sesko, or like some like to call him, Tesco. However, for his first goal, he had 3 attempts. The goalkeeper saving it twice. However, the third one went in. Brentford did try to claim that their goalkeeper was impeding, but the referee was not having none of it. So what did Brentford do? They didn't moan. They didn't complain. No, they laid the smackdown on Manchester United. They went and got another goal. So the final result for the 12:30 kickoff at the GTEC Community Stadium was Brentford 3, Manchester United 1. Now, many questions have to be asked here of none other than Ruben Amorim. After the game, he done an interview and he was asked questions whether he was in fear of losing his job. He keeps reiterating that he's not worried at all. He goes in every day with his head strong, trying to make Manchester United a great club again. Now, looking at it from the outside, as an Arsenal fan, obviously I'm over the moon. I'm happy. Manchester United were, in the 90s and early 2000s, our greatest rivals. Today we look at them with pity. We feel sorry for them. Not so much that, they're not in competition with us anymore. The less competition, the better. However, it is sad because of the size of the club and where they were at and who they are and the legacy that they have toppled off the top and fell so hard that people start to kind of feel sorry for them. But what do? Ratcliffe and Ineos came in and supposed to have changed the whole, culture around the club and reinvigorate the club and give them a boost of not just only money, but energy and thoughts and ideas. And it seemed like they went out the pan into the fire. From bad to worse, people, it's not looking good for Manchester United. Not being able to get 2 wins in a row, not able to come to Brentford and claim 3 points. It's a sad, sad situation. Now, there is some things to talk about regarding Manchester United, and I'm going to talk about them in the podcast. But there is some things about Manchester United that we want to talk about regarding how Sir Alex left, and whether Sir Alex Ferguson was the captain that left a sinking ship. So, that's for the podcast. So, Man United lose again, this time at Brentford. Brentford 3, Manchester United 1. I will say credit to Brentford because they played incredibly well. And there's a thing that I must say as well. Not only did Brentford play well, Brentford played how Manchester United are supposed to play, and Manchester United played how back in the day a Brentford would have played against the Manchester United. So my point being, had this game been played, let's say 20 years ago, 25 years ago, it would literally look the same but the other way around. Manchester United would have been playing in the way Brentford was playing. Fast-paced, passing, quick, 1-touch, 2-touch football, get to the goal, score, celebrate. That was the Manchester United way. However, they've turned into a mid-table, a lower table team that cannot create chances, that is struggling, that is playing with their heads down, no confidence, no comfortability, nothing, no real leader. Don't tell me about Bruno Fernandes. Do me a favor. Couldn't even get another penalty in. Couldn't even grab the game by the scruff of the neck, get them to equalize, get a 2-2, maybe go back home with a point. Couldn't even do that. So no real leadership in that team. Real problems for Manchester United. Now the next game I want to talk about, and I'll be very brief, is Leeds versus Bournemouth. Having only seen the highlights of that game, I think it was a great game. Great goals as well. Leeds doing very well to take the lead at one point and be 2-1 up. However, Bournemouth, who's having a great start to the season, bear in mind they do have a very, very good manager, took the game to Leeds and ended up taking a point from them away from home. So that's very, very good for Bournemouth, because Leeds is not an easy place to go to. Leeds have really turned Ellen Road back into a fortress. People going there struggling, or if not struggling, finding it difficult to play the way they want to play or get the result they want. Leeds very good at home, either winning or drawing. Doing very well for a promoted side, has started fairly well. Both Leeds and Sunderland, I believe, have the potential to stay up. Burnley, I'm not too sure about them. They don't look like they're strong enough, or they are, adaptable, or are able to compete in the Premier League. I feel sorry for Scott Parker. He does seem like a great coach, a good manager. However, I fear for Burnley. Let's get back to the game. So, Leeds-Bournemouth. Not really much to talk about. Fairly good game. I watched the highlights. I watched the goals. Great goals, by the way, guys. Go and check it out. I feel like it's a good result for both. Leeds taking a point. Bournemouth as well taking a point. I think that's the right result for a game like that. Leeds playing at home, making sure they don't lose. Bournemouth going away from home, trying to get the win. It seems like the fair result. So Bournemouth taking the game to Leeds, going ahead first. Then Leeds coming back and equalising. And then they go ahead and score another goal. So I think it was Semenyo who scored on 26 minutes. Rodon then scored after that to equalise. Then Longstaff scored for a 2-1. And everyone thought, yeah, Leeds is going to win this game. But then somehow Bournemouth in the 93rd minute, somehow they were able to get a goal. I believe it was Krupi. Scored the equaliser, and that game ended as 2-2 at Ellen Road. Right, let's talk Chelsea. Chelsea playing at home against Brighton. Brighton, who kept selling players to Chelsea, turned up and again, also, like Brentford, laid the smackdown on Chelsea. Another red card for Chelsea. This time, Chalobah, and Brighton took advantage. Former Arsenal player Danny Welbeck scoring twice against the Chelsea. Quick question. Why is Danny Welbeck not playing for England? So it seems like there is a lot of doom and gloom on managers, with Graham Potter having been sacked at West Ham, and West Ham bringing in Nuno Espirito Santo. We'll talk about that later. But there is a lot of pressure on managers. Now, Maresca under pressure. Amorim under pressure. Who else? Unai Emery under pressure. Who else, guys? So many managers in the Premier League are under pressure. However, Fabian Hertzler is making a name for himself. Glasner is making a name for himself. Areola is making a name for himself. So you have managers in the Premier League that are under a huge amount of pressure, about to lose their job, and then you have a group of managers in the Premier League that are showing, proving, and telling everyone, come and get me, I am here. So Chelsea, it's not looking good. Another loss, this time at home. Another red card, this time a defender. So let's see what's going to happen with Chelsea. I doubt they'll be competing for any trophy this season. And more than likely, Maresca will be out of a job soon. Now, the next game was an absolute drubbing. Man City at home hosting Burnley at the Etihad Stadium. Now, what can you really say? Haaland with another 2 goals. Man City with another 5 goals. At one point, I thought, ooh, Burnley got a goal back and they were drawing 1-1. And I thought maybe if they huff and puff, they can take a point away from the Etihad Stadium. I thought maybe Burnley turn up, get a 1 goal, get a draw, take a point away from the Etihad Stadium, and it's all rosy. However, Manchester City had other ideas. They thought you turn up here and score, we're gonna lay the smackdown on you. And they did. Anyhow, Manchester City win 5-1 at home. Pretty regular, pretty normal, pretty straightforward. Didn't expect nothing else. Now, a lot of people are talking about how Liverpool are the most dangerous team in the league because of their great start to the Premier League. However, I've stated from the beginning of the league that I don't think Liverpool are. I think Liverpool burnt out all their reserve gas or all their reserve petrol they had last season to win the league. They're running on fumes this season. When I say fumes, I mean fumes. Yeah, they had a great start, but I've seen other teams have great start. I've seen Tottenham have a great start like that. Not capitalizing on it, not winning nothing. So to me, Manchester City is still the most dangerous team, the most frightening team, and simply because they have the most frightening manager in the world. They have the best of the best, and he can always pull a rabbit out of a hat. Now, does that mean they're going to win the league this season? I don't know. I doubt it. Now to the game of the weekend. The game that had potentially kicked me off to a perfect weekend. Let's talk about it. Crystal Palace once again taking on Liverpool at home at Selhurst Park. Everybody had them to lose. Everybody thought Liverpool were going to go and take revenge for the Community Shield. However, Crystal Palace under Oliver Glasner are a totally different team. Not only did Crystal Palace beat Liverpool, they played much better. Sarr, again with a goal against Liverpool. Now, Liverpool, not only getting an equaliser through Chiesa, actually thought they were in line to get another last-minute winner. Not only did Crystal Palace say, no, we're going to give you a taste of your own medicine and win. Not only did they score the last-minute winner, it was none other than former Arsenal striker Eddie Nketiah, who scored a screamer. Now, I'll tell you why that game made me think that I was going to have the perfect weekend. Because at that point, Man United had lost, Chelsea had lost, now Liverpool had lost. And I thought, yes, if Tottenham lose, Arsenal win, I have the perfect weekend. So next game was Nottingham Forest against Sunderland. Ange Postecoglou against Reggie Le Bris. Now, not much in that game other than I must say Nottingham Forest played their socks off. They had so many chances. They had so many shots. I couldn't believe that Nottingham Forest didn't win. But congratulations to Sunderland. They went there, got the 3 points, went back home. Great piece of play by Sunderland. Congratulations to Sunderland for turning up at the City Ground and claiming the 3 points. However, Ange Postecoglou's team did play very, very well. I was shocked they couldn't get a goal. But Sunderland did defend very deep, low block, and done their best to make sure the ball didn't go into the net. Now, Nottingham Forest, on the other hand, threw everything they had at them. They threw everything and the kitchen sink at Sunderland to no avail. They could not get the goal in. Now, if you go and check the stats, you'll see the amount of possession they had, the amount of shots on target. Give them credit where credit is due. Nottingham Forest should have won that game. However, they didn't. Sunderland capitalized on it, took the 3 points back to Sunderland. Now, is that doom and gloom for Ange Postecoglou? It's not looking good. However, he is not yet under the amount of pressure Ruben Amorim is, or Maresca is, or Graham Potter was. At the moment, Ange Postecoglou is trying to find his feet at Forest. He's trying to implement his style of play, his philosophy, his way of thinking. Now, is that going to work out at Forest, or is it going to be another Tottenham Hotspur situation? We will find out further down the line. But I must say, in this game, his team did play well. They were very, very unlucky. Now, we go to the game that ruined my weekend. That's right, the game that ruined my perfect weekend. Everything came crashing down in the 90th minute at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I was so excited. I watched this game. I done the watch along or the hate along. Go and check it out, guys. Like and subscribe. Now, this game is a game of two halves. Tottenham had Wolves on the back foot in the first half, creating the majority of the chances. Mohamed Kudus having the ball in the back of the net, but being offside. It looked like Tottenham could potentially win this game. The second half was a totally different story. Now, the second half, Wolves came out and started playing a little bit. Now, not only did they started playing, when they got the first goal in, it seemed like they became much more comfortable with the ball. They started keeping the ball very well. Their passing became much better. Their possession became much better. Their attacks became much better. And they started creating chances. Now, not only did they score, they looked like they was going to get the second and the third. Tottenham held out very well. Now, the reason why it all went pear-shaped for me, because towards the end of the game, I was hoping and praying that Wolves would take the 3 points away from Tottenham. But somehow, Thomas Frank's team, and you must give credit to Thomas Frank for the changes he made, for the tactics he played, but towards the end of the game, Paulinho was outside of the box, somehow got the ball to him and took a shot that went and ripped the back of the net. Great shot by Paulinho, and they ended up drawing a 1-1. Other than that, there's not much to say about that game other than it's a game of two halves. Tottenham played well the first half. Wolves played very well the second half. And that also are signs that Tottenham are still not where they want to be. The fact that they drop off in the second half and are able to let teams in and score against them should be a worrying sign for Thomas Frank, to be honest with you. But who cares? Hopefully they get relegated. I want them to get relegated. Other than that, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy it. We'll be back tomorrow with the Sunday roundup. Then Monday or Tuesday, the podcast drops. Gun Shop Talk. Make sure you're there. We're going to have a lot of topics to discuss, including Manchester United. So make sure you turn up for that one and like and subscribe and all of that. I'll see you again, guys.